Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 38 of the Unknown Games Podcast, a show where we talk about video games and sometimes occasionally our life here in Japan. And by we, I mean myself, Adrian, your host, and of course, my awesome co-host, Alex.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
We're moving the train along because this week we've got like a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, more than our normal amount to talk about. We've been keeping it short usually, or I guess we've been doing, 40-minute shows, but I think this might be an epic one, everyone. So you gotta, strap on in, get ready. Because we got some good games like Last of Us 2. I'm imagining hand claps in my mind right now, like an applause.
Sure.
And then after that, we've got some crazy good news with Pokemon Snap, aka new Pokemon Snap. Also some Apex news from the EA event that happened, Star Wars Squadrons, and then, just some fun little news at the end. But overall, I think it's going to be a great show, and I hope that you all will enjoy it. Now, as always, you can follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at UGP_cast. I almost said something else. And yeah, check out our YouTube as well at Unknown Games Podcast. Without further ado, we're going to move on into the show. Episode number 38. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for 38. I don't know why, but I'm happy because I've been playing Last of Us 2.
Yeah, how is it? I haven't played it at all. So how are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it in like in a good way. So it's more Last of Us. I've literally not looked at any news about this game except for the initial launch trailer and the second trailer. So way back on E3's ways ago. Like this game has been in the works for 7 years. I did not know it's been 7 years since that original trailer. But yeah, and
wait, really 7?
It's been 7. I literally looked on Twitter and there was a couple of counts. Like even Square Enix was like had a tweet that was like, "Congratulations for getting this out." I was like, the heck?
Actually 7? That's insane. Because FF7 Remake was announced in like 2015, so that's less time.
Right? So I'm sitting here like, oh my word, this is 7 years of people's lives that I'm,
Wow, that's
playing.
funny. I had no idea. Wow. Because like people give Square Enix shit all the time for being like, oh, you take forever to release games, but FF7 Remake was only 5 years.
Right.
And this is longer than, like, why is no one giving Naughty Dog a hard time?
And because remember, we had like a delay earlier this year, and then we had another delay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, and that's part of the thing that's kind of got me curious. Like I said, I've been on media blackout for this, so I don't know what to expect. I know there was a leak that happened that ruined it for a lot of people, but for me, it's like this game has been in development since 2013, and when you're in the game, the calendar date is actually still 2013, and even in the the universe, I guess it's 2013 for that timeline. But it's crazy because I don't know what all they've added in this game. If it's going to be like part 1 of this game is a game, and then the last half of it turns into like a completely different game that's adjusted to this kind of like modern times, or has added new mechanics. I don't know. So it's been a mystery to me, but I've been enjoying it. Number one, I've got to say I'm about 6 hours into the game now, and the game is kind of opened up. I'm no longer in the kind of introduction phase. And there's still a couple more mechanics. You still have the clickers and you still have people. I've just gotten to the point where I am actually fighting against people and not just clickers, the kind of zombie-like creatures in this universe. But man, the cinematics are on next level. The acting, specifically the acting.
Yeah, I mean, my friend's been playing it as well, and he said the acting is really, really good. It feels like a huge step up from the first game, which already was really good.
It's and I think that's the best way of putting, at least where I'm at right now, Last of Us 2 is it's more Last of Us, but amped up even more. From the cinematics, the thing that I can say the most is that the details in the way that the characters, their eyes, they have a lot of minute eye movements. We make a lot of movements with our eyes when we just subtly want to say like, No. And we can say it in a different way, you know what I mean? And they get that right every time. And that's what's kind of creepy. It's a little bit too unparalleled. I'm just sitting here like, oh my goodness, like this is a movie, but it doesn't work as a movie because it's a game, and it's this fine line that they've kind of treaded, and they've done a really good job of pacing kind of tense moments. And I play this game almost like I play like Dark Souls, because enemies will kill you in one hit, and you really have to be careful. You really have to kind of plan out your attack, or if you're going to sneak, however you're going to do it. And it's left open enough to where you can, this the same systems that you had before, Molotov cocktails or your guns or med kits, kind of crafting those items. Those are still there. So you really are left to your own devices of how you kind of want to play or get past certain areas, or if you don't even want to fight at all, which I find that very hard, but I'm sure someone can do it.
Yeah, so if it's anything like I remember from the first game, like you can use a lot of stealth, and that'll really help you out in your encounters because you're using less ammo and stuff like that.
Right, right. And that's still the same. Still the same.
Yeah, I'm in the same as you actually. I've only seen the first initial trailer when that apparently was in 2013. And then after that I saw like one other trailer. But after that I've avoided all the trailers. I didn't read the leaks. I didn't investigate the game. I didn't go on any subreddit. So I'm really, really, really blind. I didn't get it at launch, but I do intend to play this game eventually. Like I had an okay, like I liked the first game.
Right, right.
It was a good game. So I'm sure that I'll, eventually pick up the second. I don't know, but it's just for some reason, like it really didn't pick up on my list. Like it wasn't a game that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go and play that immediately. I know that it's a good game. I like Naughty Dog games, but I don't know. Like this year, I've been in a really big like different state of mind. Like I'm playing a lot of JRPGs, so that's kind of where my focus is now.
Right, right. And this,
yeah, other than Doom, I guess I got Doom, but yeah.
And I think like the difference between this game and something like Doom, and of course JRPGs, is this is high. This is violence, just like the same way Last of Us violence was Last of Us violence, where it kind of hits you. They're using it in a way
yeah.
I've already had two of those moments, and I can say like the game does take place. I think it's 4 years after the ending of the original game, and you are in a different area. So instead of the Fireflies, there is an organization that's very similar to them, and they do some things narratively that in the beginning of the game I was like, what? Wait, am I playing a new character? But the way they twist it is it's kind of nice. But yeah, just last night I had a moment where it was literally I'm trying to chase after somebody, and I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but I'm trying to chase after this person, and then we finally found them, and we're just trailing behind them a little bit, right? So we're on a horse. Also, the horse mechanics are nice. I feel like the graphics on this game make me want a 4K HDR capable television and a PS4 Pro. That's literally, I want those two things now because it looks amazing. The lighting, the textures, everything is so good. But there was a moment, I was just like, okay, well, let's go to the next area, and some shit hit the fan, and my heart literally jumped like a closet scare, even though I was just startled just the same way the characters would have been startled. They do this a couple of times so far, and it's just been like, okay, what do I do? Oh gosh, okay, I'm good. Please don't hurt my girls. Please don't hurt Ellie. And I feel for the characters, and I think that's Naughty Dog. That's what they do. That's what they do best.
Right. I haven't played a Naughty Dog game in a while. I think the last Naughty Dog game that I played was, I don't know, man. Like I want to say Uncharted 3, actually.
That's better than me. I stopped at Uncharted 2, and I think 3 was
Last of Us. Sorry, Last of Us. That was the last one.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's the same for me then Last of Us, and then I still need to play Uncharted 3 and 4. But yeah, and going back to graphics, I think what stands out, and this is also something that I think we said about Final Fantasy VII Remake, is there's a lot of care put into the world around you, and just those kind of, when you're going into different environments and you see these little things that someone just put there, whether it was like some outsourced team or whatever, but they put there as a random thing, you know what I mean? And it's in the environment. but it makes it feel so much more lived in, and it makes the world feel so much more rounder. And that's apparent all the way through Last of Us 2, from the beginning. And I remember the first Last of Us, there were random bricks scattered around, or random formations for chairs and things inside rooms. But after a while, you kind of saw all of them. And they started repeating, and this time they're not repeating, not nearly as much. And all of the posters, anything that's has words on it, like on a wall, you can read it. It's all clear, um, and that everything just has so much detail. And I guess before I stop talking about Last of Us, I will say the narrative is still treading the same lines as it did before, but it's a different subject matter, and I can't
Hmm.
say it, I guess, because it'll get in spoilery ish. But for the first 2 hours, or there's a part in the game, I'm like, so what exactly am I going to be doing in Last of Us 2? And then now I'm at that point, of course, where I know what I'm going to be doing. But what I do have to say is it's still a story, and you're traveling with the companion, and the dialogue between them, the things that they experience together, it's still so well written. I'll say I went and found a building with some stained glass to get uh, some some materials out of it, some gas actually, and I didn't know what it was. And then the girl is like, "Yo, Ellie's like, what is this building? It looks like it's just like a municipal building." And then her traveling companion is like, "Oh no, this is a Jewish synagogue." And you look up, and there's the menorahs around, and then they actually start doing a little bit of history lessons in there, and that was interesting. She talks about her family. She's like, "Yeah, my family's always been survivors." And you find out these little details, little by little, about the characters in such a natural way, and then about the environment. So that's all I have to say about Last of Us 2. I'm going to keep playing it tonight, and I don't think I'm going to beat it all in one go or something, because I want to kind of let it simmer a little bit. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'll get to it eventually. I think to me, what's interesting about Last of Us is that it appears to, for some reason, I don't know why I haven't looked into this, but it has a fairly negative user review score right now on Metacritic. I don't know why that is.
I don't know either. I've kind of seen some like good. I think I've seen a little bit of the press reviews from like just the headlines or whatever, and it seems like it's good. And then I've seen like some user, like the Metacritic, it's like it's bad, and there's some sort of dissonance, and I don't know what that dissonance may be. There's some cool mini games. There's cool things they're doing, but like I said, this is a game that it's pretty much what you would expect from Last of Us Part 2. It's more
Hmm.
Last of Us. And if it wasn't your cup of tea in 2013 or 20, whenever that game came out, 2013, it's
Yeah.
not going to be your cup of tea now. And the mechanics, some of the things like the shooting and everything like that, it's refined, but it's not going to be what you're used to today from a third person shooter, maybe.
Hmm.
That's the best way
Yeah.
of putting it. And as far as I can see, I don't know what people are giving a bad review to. Maybe the ending is maybe there's something with the ending. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't investigated it, but it was interesting to see.
So that's pretty much what I've been playing. And I, I haven't played as much of it as I wanted to, because I ended up playing Final Final Fantasy 14 and then hopping into Destiny 2.
Yeah, cool. So I guess that's a bunch of time things. How are you enjoying 14?
14. So I'm playing a conjurer, and this is the first time I have played 14, and I didn't play Final Fantasy 11. So this is all kind of new to me, kind of like the systems. And it's kind of funny because we thought I was talking about like an outdated UI. I was trying to add my friends, and it was like so complex we couldn't find each other. It's like, please put your player name here, first name, and then there's like last name search, and then there's all these check boxes, and it took us a while, but we finally got to playing with each other. And no, it was really fun to kind of like chill out and zone out. I'm playing on PS4, and I'm using the controller. Halfway like debating using mouse and keyboard.
Oh yeah, because you can do that, I think, on a PS4.
Yeah, and I did find out like if I just tap the D-pad, not the D-pad, but the kind of what's the pad, the touchpad, it acts
Hmm.
as the mouse, and it
Hmm.
doesn't. And I was like, oh, okay, this made things a little bit easier. It's been kind of hard trying to find where my quests are, so it's been me mainly getting used to the UI and trying to find things. But other than that, like I've kind of enjoyed seeing, random people around in the world, like kind of like MMO feel where people are there. And then random
Mhm.
stuff is running past you. I was like, what the heck is that? Like, oh, that dude looks so cool. I want to be like that one day. So that's so far. I'm still in the intro area, so I can't really say much. I'm only like level 7. I'm still a
Sorry,
noob.
17 or 7?
7.
How are you only level 7? Like your first 10 levels should go real fast.
That's the thing. They should go really, really fast. I played so I did 1 to 7 in about 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's real fast. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you'll level up by killing like 4 things when you get out into the field for the first time.
So that's where I'm at now. I've got to do a little bit more grinding there. Essentially, me and my friends, I'm using games as a way to play with different friend groups. So I've got Apex. It's a schedule now. Apex is Saturday and Sunday night, whereas Destiny is like Sunday or Saturday afternoon ish. Oh, I started Borderlands 3 as well, so I'm on that. That's definitely Sunday afternoons. And then yeah, 14 is Friday nights.
Hmm.
So I've got that
Um.
down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to play a lot of 14 as well. I used to end up. I played it like that was the only game that I played, so I would play it daily, nightly actually. Because
Hmm.
when you get to a certain level, you unlock your daily roulettes, which basically get you a bunch of experience and stuff.
Okay.
And once you hit level cap, obviously you don't need experience anymore, but you can still do roulettes to level up other classes that you have because you can pick any class that you want.
Right, right.
Like you can just change on the fly. You can level up any classes you're not using, but when you get to max level and you start doing end game contents, you need to do your
Like class
your
specific.
daily roulettes,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
to get tomestones that are called because tomestones let you exchange. You can exchange tomestones for a set of gear, basically. So like
Hmm.
high end game gear.
Okay, okay.
So there's always like a bunch of tomestones. You honestly you won't need to know about this until you get to at least level 50. But tomestones will let you exchange for there's gear that you can buy with tomestones,
Hmm.
and then there's gear that's like you can also buy with tomestones, but the amount that you can get per week is capped. So it's impossible for you to like grind out all the tomestones you need in like 4 days and then buy the gear. You can only
Okay.
hold so many, like you know, only earn so many per week.
Okay, so you actually have to like use them up before the week is out kind of thing.
No, you can't use them. You keep them. You just
You just
can't
keep them.
earn more.
Okay.
You can't earn more than a certain amount in a week. And then there's the tomestones you get for doing like the second most recent raid tier,
Hmm.
and those are kind of difficult. Well, I mean, because you have to raid for those, right? So those are
Right.
the hardest ones to get. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if we get that far. I know right now we're just playing once a week, but if we all get, a lot more into it, and I know one of the guys in the group is pretty into it already. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I was at like level 16, like I just did it in one sitting," and like, we're all just like, we're gonna catch up to you." But I mean, like I'm enjoying it. It was really relaxing. I will say it was kind of hard to figure out some of the, like I said, the UI things. That took me the longest. But the opening cutscene, the story and stuff seems really interesting. Like, were you interested in the story when you were playing, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it has really good they're really long cutscenes though. So FF14 is notorious, especially the first story, I guess. So what would be in version 2.0?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, the final dungeon for 2.0 has like the longest cutscenes ever, and I feel really bad for new players. And if you get this far, I highly recommend you do the final like story quest with a pre-made team. Because
Okay.
if you do this with randos, if you just queue up normally,
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen is you're going to get into the dungeon, you're going to watch a cutscene, and then when your cutscene is done, you're going to find that the party is gone. They're gone. They
Wait,
left you behind.
they are wait. Oh, so it doesn't wait for everyone to finish the cutscene. It's like legit. Press, go ahead and press start. You can skip the cutscene and continue the.
Yeah, and
Oh.
everyone will skip the cutscene because it's a long dungeon. The cutscenes
Mm,
are they're super long as hell, and those dungeons are part of a roulette. So like high level players are in that dungeon just to grind out experience, or they're just there to like get the roulette done. So they don't care about you really. So
oh, okay. How many
yeah,
people can be in the dungeon? Like, or at that time, is it 4 or is it 6?
It depends on the dungeon. So most dungeons are 4, and
Okay.
then those ones for some reason are like 8, and
Oh dang.
then yeah,
So we'll,
they changed it in version 3.0 and later, where the dungeons aren't as long,
okay.
and they split up the last kind of dungeon slash boss fight in 3.0 to be 2 different encounters. So what happens in the end of 2.0 is that it's a long dungeon, and then at the end of that dungeon is the boss of that story arc. So
Okay.
it's just a super long encounter.
Oh
You're in
man.
there for a while. But in 3.0, it's a dungeon, and then you leave, and then you queue up for the final fight, which is a welcome change.
I know that like some of this stuff isn't not retroactive, but just like my friend was saying, some of the mechanics they added later on in some of the
Oh yeah,
expansions
yeah.
don't apply in A Realm Reborn. Like it's just like vanilla left as vanilla, kind of
Um,
in some ways.
well, they tweaked the battle system. So I stopped playing like a year, 2 years ago. So even if I jump in, I can't talk about the game now because I am not playing it.
Okay,
But
okay,
um, stuff that concerns the overall battle system is tweaked for all players, regardless if you have all the expansions or not. Like I think they got rid of TP. So I mean, you're playing it now. Is there a thing? There's HP and MP, right?
yeah. It's just HP and MP.
Yeah. So when I was playing, there was a thing called TP,
Is
and
that
if
team
you were
points or
not
something? Who's
like
like
technical points,
technical
yeah.
points? Okay,
And if you're playing like a melee class, your skills would use TP rather than MP.
oh, okay.
Um, and but even though I was playing like a dragoon, I had an MP bar, but literally nothing would use it.
So it was
Like
just there.
yeah,
It's
yeah, like none of
always
my
there.
skills used MP. So they tweaked it, I think. So now everything uses MP. So
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll let you know how it's going next podcast because like I said, I'm enjoying it. I got to do a little bit more leveling up, so it's pretty much that and Last of Us are my kind of go-to games right now, and then like I said, Destiny 2. Just playing like Crucible and Gambit and a lot of the PvP modes so far, and just getting back into that on PC. It's really smooth, man. Really smooth. I've been doing that, but conversely, my
oh,
Apex time
you're playing Destiny 2 on PC now.
on PC. Yeah, I'm playing on PC.
Yeah, interesting. So you were playing it on console before. What's your
Right.
impression? Like how I'm just because I've never played on console. So like
Mhm.
how does it feel? Like is it better? Why is it better? What would you say?
For me, like Destiny, like one when I was playing a lot of Destiny. Like the good thing about Destiny was always made for a console before a PC, right? So the way you aimed, there was always a heavy amount of aim assist, and everything just it just felt right. It always felt right. It always felt really nice. And going to PC, the aiming feels really good because a lot of like you don't have to be consistently focused on firing at an enemy, hitting it, uh, I guess critically hitting it in the head or whatever. I mean, it's good to do that, but it's pretty stable. Most of the guns, the perks and everything, they'll pretty much stable your guns out to where you don't really have to worry about aiming that much. But what I do love about the PC version is, of course, it's 60 frames plus or whatever, and it's smooth. The graphics look really nice. I think it's a lot easier to navigate a lot of the menus because they've made menus cumbersome. Like I don't know why you have to go to the map screen, like where I guess the map screen is to see your quest, as opposed to going to your inventory screen to see this quest. And those two screens are not linked together. Like those are two separate things. So it's kind of like some of that stuff is weird, and there's a lot of things that they don't really explain, which is par on course for Destiny. They just give you some quests and say, go find it, go do it. But yeah, that's what I gotta say. Like I love how I was able to transition to mouse and keyboard, and it felt really good. Like
Yeah, I can
nothing
imagine for
changed.
certain games I feel like PC would be um maybe more comfortable
Mhm.
just because you have a keyboard. So for example, in Borderlands, I haven't played on console, but on Borderlands on PC, like tab is for quest, but M is for map. So if you just want to look at your map, it's just like one button
Mhm.
away.
Which it's much better than PS4. Trust me, like that's one of my gripes about the PS4 version or the console version is literally having to cycle through all the menus in like the most unintuitive way. I've literally told my friend when we were playing it, I was like, "Yo, this seems like a game that's better on PC. Was it this
Just
cumbersome
be
for us?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
just because of all the buttons. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. On Apex, by the way, on console, like you have two guns and then you can stow your gun, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do you jump if your gun is stowed? How do you
Mm-hmm.
jump to gun one or gun two? It's triangle.
It's triangle, yeah. So it's like I guess Call of Duty or whatever. You hold triangle to holster it, and then you press triangle to press it to pull it out. But you don't. You have to like pre-plan, and I've noticed this when I've jumping back from PC and PS4, right, or just controller, is at least on PC you can hit 1, 2 to get
Or yeah, to get to either gun
to
or
get to
three
either
to
gun
holster.
or
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas for PS, for controller, you need to holster it in the form like whatever you want to appear first. That's the gun you need to holster. That
Oh,
makes sense. Yeah.
so
I
if
can't
you're
pull
on your
out just I want my
okay,
99 right now. I have to make sure that I holstered my 99 first. Then when I press triangle again, the 99 will come out
that's the
first.
one that comes
That's
out.
the one that comes out. Yeah.
So it's like last gun used, basically.
Pretty much. Yep.
Okay, interesting.
So that's how I'm
Yeah.
accustomed to playing. But in Destiny, it's the opposite. I'm just like, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, use it.
Yeah. I mean, just speaking about the controller keyboard thing is like when I was playing 14, I was raiding with 7 other people,
Mm-hmm.
and our tank actually was playing on a console. So, and he was good. Like he was playing at a very a high level. And
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to FF14, you as long as you get used to it, like you can play really good on a PS4. Like I would plug in a keyboard still just so you can chat like way easier. But
Yeah. I
other than that, like yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I've heard people who are just using the controller like from other podcasts, and they're like, yeah, I'm used to it. It's norm. It's great now. And I'm like, oh, okay. And
Yeah,
the more I've used it, the better it's gotten. But I still, for me, feel a little bit like, okay, let me try hooking up a mouse and keyboard just
you
to
want to
see.
try using keyboard,
Yeah,
yeah.
just to see, especially because I'm healing, and I don't like the way how I have to like cycle through my team members. Like
Oh, yeah, okay.
if I were
I
playing
think
like DPS or something, if I was doing anything else, then sure, maybe I think it can work. But healing, I need to like select either people specifically or like they better all just be ranged heal spells.
when I was playing healer,
AoE.
yeah, if you use your F keys will target specifically that person in your party.
Mm. That's what I really want. So because I think it's like left D pad and right D pad target. If I remember this, it's target enemies, and then up and down on the D pad will cycle through your allies. And it took me a while to figure this out. I was like, what the heck? Why do I keep? I just want to target the nearest person to me, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played 14 in a while. I mean, like I've been thinking about it honestly. Like I keep thinking about jumping back into 14
But
because
we got that blue protocol, man. We got
yeah,
the
that's
blue
the thing.
P.
That's like the
BP.
only thing. That's like the only thing that's keeping me back. It's just like, oh, but you can play this in maybe a couple months. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll wait.
Which is gonna be good. I think we're. Wait, did we know if it's free to play or not? I forgot if we.
I don't know if they announced it. So yeah, I hope I think it'll be free to play. I don't
Dude, if
see
it's
why.
free to play, that's gonna be awesome. That's huge. At least for me, it's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, because then you can jump into it. It was fun. Like I had a really good time with Blue Protocol. I had a couple complaints, and like I mentioned before, like I don't know how I'll feel about the game 20 to 30, 40 hours later.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But it has a lot of potential. Let's say the cutscenes are really good and the graphics look awesome. But what keeps the staying power of an MMO is just like the end game content.
The end game content.
Yeah, and how fun it is to play after that. So if the boss fights, the raids, if they're not fun, I'm not gonna play it, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
I
I
mean,
mean,
and we won't know how much stuff they have
yeah.
planned or no ready once it launches. You know what I mean? It could be like Destiny, where literally there was just the raid. Once you did the raid, you just kept doing the raid for like an additional, what was it 3 or 4 months until the next raid came out? Like it was so dry that all of us were like, what are we doing?
Well,
here
that's
again?
kind of how 14 works as well. But the raid is broken up into floors, and then those are broken up into tiers. So like the end game rated for 14 is like you'll get 4 floors at first.
Okay.
And then once you beat the 4th floor, you still have to do them again because you're not going to get your full equipment set just by beating each floor once. You kind of have to do those floors over and over and over again.
Okay.
But then after those 4 floors are done, they'll release the next 4 floors, and it continues the story of the raid. It has a story.
Oh, okay.
And then it's
That's
4 more
cool.
floors. And then after you've done, like, those 4 floors come with their own new equipment set, and you got to grind out those floors to grab, your equipment, your weapon, and your armor. And then all in all, each major raid in 14 has 12 floors broken up into 3 tiers, if that makes sense.
That's a lot, but hey, it's a good little bit to go through. I mean, like, hey, if you're gonna make it in game, make it in game.
And they trickle down, so it's like 4, like 1 to 4, and then a couple months later it'll be 5 to 8, and then it'll be 9 to 12.
Oh, okay. So it's like on like a little monthly release schedule of.
Well, it's more than monthly, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
but those floors, like when I was raiding, like they're not easy. Like you grab a team, and you're like practicing a fight. You're practicing one floor for weeks. You're trying to clear a fight once. And then you're like, we did it, guys. We learned the first floor rather.
And we have to relearn for the second tier, like the second.
And it's
floor,
like now let's jump into the floor 2 and let's learn this fight. And you're doing that for a couple weeks.
Gosh.
And then it's like, let's learn the 3rd floor. And then you're doing that. So that's raiding at 14.
Hey, which is fun. And I will say, and if you're raiding in Destiny, it's that same experience. So, because Destiny's raids are broken up into typically like 3, 4, maybe sometimes 5 like sections that you kind of have to figure out what you need to do in terms of like, it's almost like a puzzle, but
I like
really
that.
similar. Yeah. So it's
I
a lot
really
of fun.
like that. Yeah. To me, that's a lot of fun because the satisfaction of clearing with the team, like saying like, we did this together, like we learned this fight and we're good at it now. Like that's where I get my satisfaction.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely know that it always put a lot of stress on me because I don't like being under pressure sometimes because like everyone has their role, and if you mess up your role, like chances are you might just have wiped. Like there's a high chance you're gonna wipe and just all right, let's just do it again because
Oh my god, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it can get frustrating if you don't have if you're playing with random sometimes and you don't know who knows the role, or maybe everyone does, but in Destiny it'll be like, okay, like I just want to get this done to get this reward this week. But people are playing after work and they're already stressed, and you're like, "Oh, come on, bro! Like, let's be happy. Let's be happy."
That's the same thing. I agree. Like, one dude messes up because like I've never played Destiny raids, but like it's kind of like a dance where it's like DPS does this, healers do this, tanks do this, and everyone has to do like the thing that everyone have to do. Thing.
Yep.
They have to go to a certain position or something, and if one guy messes up and it causes the team to wipe, everyone is just like, especially if it's a random, they'll like turn on him and like, what were you doing? Like, why aren't you in your position? Like, don't you know this fight? Yeah, so.
That's exactly like raids in Destiny. Like, you just got to be, you have to know, okay, at this point in time, this is about to happen. You need to be there. I need to be here. You pop your ultimate and then give us some orbs so I can pop my ultimate and then give us some buffs, whatever. We need to focus fire on this. And if you don't do that, then we have to do it again. And then we're running out of ammo and resources. It's that.
Oh my god, that sounds so familiar. And like in 14, like sometimes you'll have groups they'll try to save the run. So like let's say one person is out of position and it causes the boss for everyone to eat a certain attack.
Yeah.
And then let's say like both tanks die. One healer's dead. Your DPS is gone. It looks like a wipe. You'll have like one healer who's like, I'm gonna save it, and they'll use like the level 3 limit break to res everyone. And that's then like but then like let's say like, everyone's up, the run is saved, except not really, because you needed that limit break later down the line.
It's actually
and now you could have it.
You don't have it. Well, we're gonna move on to the news. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna move on to the news. And once again, like if you're playing Last of Us 2, or if you're playing 14 or any other MMOs, let us know on our Anchor page. Leave us a voice message or give us a shout out on Twitter, UGP_cast, or check us out on anchor.fm/UGPcast. Wow, I've got it down, everybody. We're gonna move on to the news, and we'll see you after the break. Yeah, I got that good D. I am the. Oh gosh, that was gonna go in a weird direction if I said
Do
I
you
am
know?
the D.
Do you know what he's referring to, right?
Defense?
No.
No.
Oh my god, so
I
funny.
I am being the purest of mind here.
Oh my god,
This
that's hilarious.
this episode is
Uh,
entitled D for defense.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No,
Oh man.
I'm sorry. It's not defense.
Oh, well, we're back with the news, and this week or last week we had a lot of things happening and leading up to the podcast as well. Number one, so new Pokemon Snap headed to the Switch. There's no release date on it right now, but they do have a trailer that they did release, and apparently this is being developed by Bandai Namco.
Yeah. So
So
hype. Good news, everyone. Shout out to all my homies who are listening in the year like 1998. Pokemon Snap. Yeah, we're gonna get a sequel. Don't you worry.
we're gonna get it. You know, it's so crazy because a lot of people always wanted Pokemon Snap. Like a lot of people, like
Yeah,
I remember
it's
playing
fun.
it.
Yeah,
And
I don't know a single person who's just like, it's not a good game. I don't know a single everyone's like, oh yeah,
well,
Pokemon Snap was this. Yeah,
yeah, people are like Pokemon Snap was the shit. But the thing is like
yeah,
Pokemon
yeah.
Snap is like the most leisurely, relaxing game that you
Oh
can
my
play.
god,
Like
yeah,
there, like literally, what are you gonna hate against? Like, oh, I got bored.
yeah.
Like maybe
It's so
that's
fun.
it. But it's
I have
good.
like my favorite memory in Pokemon Snap is like many years later. So Pokemon Snap got released on the Virtual Console for the Wii in 2006 or 2007 or something like that.
Yep, yep.
I was at my high school girlfriend's house at the time we were dating. I was waiting for my girlfriend at the time to get ready. So I drive her to her house, and I can't remember where we're going. I think probably we were going to like the high school like prom or something. I honestly don't remember. So I went to her house, and I had to like wait for her to get ready. And in the time that it took for her to get ready, I started a new game of Pokemon Snap, and I beat Pokemon Snap. Like I got to like Mew, and I photographed Mew. Like that, within the time it took her to get ready, I beat Pokemon Snap.
So that's like an hour.
No, I think that was. Oh my god, I think it was like
If you
2
say 30
hours or
minutes,
something.
oh, okay, 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
because like the thing about Pokemon Snap is like once you have played it once and you know the tricks, like you know how to get to the routes, then you're like, oh yeah, it's like riding a photographic bicycle or something. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like this is a game that I played when I was a kid at my friend's house. So I never owned it. I owned a Pokemon Coliseum. I owned
Wait, Coliseum was a GameCube game. You mean Stadium?
Stadium. There we go. Stadium. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I owned Stadium, but I never got Snap.
Snap?
I just played it at my friend's house. You know, like back then, you don't have money. You can only request things from your parents. So
Yeah, it's up to your parents.
So I was just
So,
like,
are you gonna jump on? Oh, you need to get a Switch, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be the you need to get a Switch moment again. Darn you, Switch! Stop doing it.
What is gonna be the game that is gonna convince you to get a Switch?
I don't think there's
already
game.
been so many good games, and
I
you're
don't-
just like, yeah.
Look, I don't think it's going to be a game that convinces me to get a Switch because honestly, I was ready to get a Switch last week. Honestly, I really was. So I don't know if I've talked about my internet problems on the podcast, but essentially I signed up for an internet provider. And
Oh yeah, and you had like a discount or something, yeah?
yeah, they were like, you can buy anything in the store and we'll give you $220 discount on it. And
Yeah,
I was
you were
just like,
thinking Switch. Yeah.
yeah, I go over to the game section because I needed an Xbox controller for PC, and
Mhm.
and I'm just like, oh wait, I could get a Switch. Look over,
Mhm.
and no switches, man, nothing. Just cleared out once again. I don't even think they had Switch lights. I just couldn't get a Switch, and I'm like, well, this would have been a great time to get a Switch.
So
this
you were
was the
looking for
moment.
Switches or Xbox controllers, and you got
Yeah.
neither.
And I got neither because the
But they
product,
didn't have any Xbox controllers in stock, or what?
they didn't have any Xbox One controllers in stock. They just had the Pro. What's their Pro controller? The Elite. They just had that. And I was like, I'm not about to pay for a darn Elite controller.
I own one. I have one. I'm not
You have-
kidding.
you have an
They're
Elite?
so good.
They're
I
really
do.
good, but I just
They're so good.
I'm not gonna use it all the time. I just want it for a little bit. I just wanted a 360 controller or something, just wired. If that's the case.
My PC controller of choice is now the Xbox Elite Series 2. So prior to that, I was using a regular Xbox One controller.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple months ago, I treated myself. So I got an Xbox Series 2. And that is my go-to controller now.
Hmm.
It feels good in hand. It has really good grips. It has the 4 paddles on the back. You can program those to whatever you want.
Okay.
The thumbstick tension is adjustable, so you can make them loose or tight.
What?
You can change the triggers on the back to hair triggers. So I want full trigger rotation, or you're like, oh, I'm playing a shooter, and every microsecond counts. You can turn them into hair triggers, so they don't even like really
Oh, so you don't
go
need to
down that
press it
far.
all the way down. You just.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it is my favorite controller for PC. I don't even own an Xbox, but I do have a PC, and I do play games on PC with the controller. So that's
Hey,
the controller I use. Yeah.
it's okay. You do have an Xbox. You have a PC. That's an Xbox.
Yeah, basically, sure.
You
Yeah,
have,
I
you have
guess.
it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got
Yeah.
it. So we have Pokemon
Um,
Snap. Like we were saying, that's happening, and then just kind of moving on to the next. I guess the biggest other big announcement that no one saw coming: Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, Kingdom
oh
Hearts.
yeah, Memory of Melody or whatever it's called.
Oh man, yes. So Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is
Oh, I
going to
got it
be.
backwards. Yeah.
Don't worry, that's still a plus for the game. You remembered the name, and that's the best thing you can do with a Kingdom Hearts game. So they announced this, and they also announced I think, a sequel to the mobile version, which is Kingdom Hearts Union Dark Road. The previous one was Kingdom Hearts Union X. So you know, do
Yeah.
what you
Are
gotta
they
do.
combining both the games into one? I actually don't know what's happening there.
So they're going to be separate. The Union X has been out for a couple years or whatever, and then or I guess it's an expansion. Yeah. So this is an expansion to it. So it's going to be out on June 22nd, which is pretty much today, while we're filming this podcast. And yeah, so Melody of Memory has over. It's a, as they described it, an action rhythm game.
Right.
You're king. You've got Donald, Sora, and Goofy
Cool.
going down a melodic track. We'll say like Rock Band or
Yeah, it's
Guitar
like
Hero,
Guitar Hero or something. Yeah.
and you're pressing buttons somehow to hit notes. And that's it. There's over 140 songs in the game. That's one part of the game. And the other part of the game is that you'll be kind of going through the story as Kaidi, which I know a
Yeah.
lot of people really
I
like.
think most people they care about that part. They don't care about the rhythm action part.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where Kingdom Hearts is notorious for doing this, where they make legitimately a full-on game that's a rehash of all the previous games environments, right? So you're going through all of these wonderful, memorable sections of score and music from PS2 Kingdom Hearts backgrounds. I mean, they look like they're touched up, but let's face it,
Yeah, apparently they look not good or something. Like
it
I
looks
don't know.
like it's not Kingdom Hearts 3 engine. This is some straight up
Right.
Kingdom Hearts 2. It looked like Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2 PS2 level, and they just
Okay.
reused the assets. I have no clue, but
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts fans, eat your heart out. No pun intended.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all I got.
So the thing about with me is about Kingdom Hearts. Every time there's a new Kingdom Hearts game and it kind of blows up on the internet, I'm like, oh, that looks really good. I'm curious about like the story. I want to learn about this. Like these characters look cool. But then I'm like, I go to a wiki and I'm like, what do I need to know? And it's just like the most convoluted friggin' thing in my life. And then I back off and I'm like,
It gets
oh,
so
never
difficult.
mind. I don't want to play that. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before. It's so, and all these, yeah, these are canon. These, this is a canon game, so you can continue your story. It's just, it's so hard. You might just skip it, everyone.
Yeah. So that's Kingdom Hearts.
Just said,
Yeah.
just skip it, everyone. And after that, we had the EA event that was, I think it's EA Play is what their annual event is called, in terms of E3, where they showed off the new trailers. Of course, we had Apex news, some big Apex news. We had huge EA news in terms of their distribution platforms and Star Wars Squadrons, and then, EA Sports and EA Originals. So starting off, it's really nice to see that Apex Legends is going to be cross-play. So we've got Apex Legends on Switch. That's a huge announcement coming this fall. And then if you're on, I think, is it even Epic Store?
On Apex Legends? No, I think it's just Steam only.
Okay, so Steam, PC, PS4, Xbox, Switch, you're all going to be able to play together. That's really cool. That's really nice. And then, of course, a lot of other EA games have been coming to the Steam store. They've been rolling out, week after week kind of thing. And I'm so excited because Dead Space 3 is finally available for me to play.
Yeah, and Mass Effect 3 as well, and Titanfall 2, and The Sims 4, and like a lot of games.
A
I
lot
don't
of
really care about
yeah.
The Sims 4, but I mean, it's exciting that well, I think Battlefield's on there now as well. So you want to play
Yeah.
Battlefield? Like that's on Steam
Yeah, yeah,
finally. Yeah,
they're like rolling them out kind of little like week by week kind
yeah,
of thing. I don't know, but so you've been playing Titanfall every once in a while, outside of Apex games because you've been a huge Titanfall fan. But you said like
yeah.
a
So
lot of people
yeah,
have like come into the
are
community
jumping
now.
on it. Yeah.
Are
So
jumping on.
now that the game's on Steam, I noticed like I was playing Titanfall 2 a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at the server population. And we're in Japan, right? So I kind of play at weird times, let's say, for a lot of people. So I'm used to seeing like 2,000 online, 5,000 online. But when I checked out Titanfall on the weekend, it was 10,000 people online. Like, so that was a huge jump from where it used to be.
It's a huge jump, and it's on sale right now. If I remember, I know on the Japanese store it's like $10, so it's probably around the same on all the other Steam platforms. The other regions. So if you haven't played it, definitely go and give it a shot. I have it on PS4. I'm just interested in playing the single player. I'm not good with all the twitchy wall running and all that.
Yeah. So
I can't trick like Octane.
I was playing on the weekend, right?
Hmm.
And it's kind of like riding a bike. So you kind of get into the groove of like slide hopping and wall running and stuff.
Right,
And
right.
then I jumped into Apex like right after.
Hmm.
And like I just jumped on a wall, and I'm like, well, what is happening? Like, why can't I? Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah,
Oh, that's priceless. Like, and I was playing the Ghost Runner demo over the weekend too,
yeah,
and I was just
yeah.
like, oh, wall running, and I remember it's like, oh, this must be how it feels to run on walls all the time. It's pretty nice.
Oh, it's so fun.
I
Yeah,
can't shoot
I have a
while I'm
hot.
running on this wall, but it's nice.
Yeah, I have a hot tip for anyone who's playing Titanfall 2 for the first time on Steam. If you're playing on a PC,
Okay.
uh, it's in the same universe as Apex Legends, so you're probably familiar with some of the weapons, like Mozambique, Wingman, R97 is what it's called in the game, and
Okay.
like those kind of guns. If you're gonna be jumping into Titanfall from Apex, my hot tip is don't ADS. You don't need to. The guns are very accurate,
Okay.
and you need to, I would say, pretend like the ground is lava. Like don't touch the ground. So
Oh,
like always be wall running, always be on a roof, always be like just not on the ground. Like don't touch the ground.
oh my word. I'm like imagining. I was like, I'm gonna be on the ground. Like, oh, never mind. Never
Yeah,
mind.
don't like just don't run on the ground. If you have to run on the ground, slide hop because it's faster and then you're harder to hit that way.
See, that's that PC skip tech. You know,
You
that
can do it on
that
console.
that
You,
hop.
you can do it on console. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a bit harder to do on console because you have to like
Be
jump.
proficient with your buttons.
Yeah, because I on PC you can change the hold to crouch. So you
Okay.
just hold control and then tap the spacebar as you're continuously holding control or C or whatever your crouch button is.
Okay.
But on console, it's toggle to crouch. So it's like,
Mm,
yeah, you have to hit the button twice basically. It's kind of hard, but yeah, you can still do it on console.
okay. And I think so for the event that they're having now with Apex. I think this is going to go live on Tuesday. This is coming up Tuesday. So by the time you listen to this podcast, it'll be up. But Lost Treasures event, which is pretty cool. I mean, Armed and Dangerous is coming back. It's got a little evolved, is what it's called. Armed and Dangerous evolved because everyone's got Evo shields this time around. They're starting off with Evo shields.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy,
the
dude.
yeah, the sniper and shotgun mode.
It's
If you're not
sniper
familiar.
shoddy. Yeah,
Yeah, and the Newtown takeover by Crypto, aka Mr. Mustachio.
yeah. Do you like
Crypto
his
with his
mustache?
freaking. It looks so weird. Like I don't even understand. It's a weird mustache, but hey, it's all good. And of course, you if you collect all the little items, just like in previous events, you can unlock Mirage's heirloom, which is it's Mirage. It's got a nice little trophy. It's nice.
Have you been
Yes.
paying attention to the rumored buffs that some legends are getting?
So I haven't looked. I looked at the trailer and I noticed that Lifeline was straight up rezzing someone without being next to like the drone was rezzing by itself with the
Exactly.
shield,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
Lifeline was just
Exactly.
like, I'm gonna just go and just mess some people up by while my drone's rezzing. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
So how do you feel
That's
about that?
okay. So there's two things. One, I can't tell if Mirage still does it better because no one can see me. Period.
Oh, because you get cloaked, right?
Because you get cloaked, or I kind of liked being shielded as lifeline. Like I know it's good that I can still hit the people, but it kind of sucks that I don't have a shield anymore.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can stay
I can
behind. You
stay
can stay
behind
behind
it,
your own shield. Yeah,
but you can't shoot through it.
you can't shoot through it. You can't shoot from the other side.
I mean, you can shoot left or right, but you can't shoot through your shield,
Oh, I didn't
right?
know that. I thought you could. I don't know. Can you? Like,
Wait,
I don't.
can Lifeline shoot through her shield? Well, wait, we've never had to do it before,
Yeah, well,
unless you.
Lifeline can't shoot, so we've never tested it.
We've never tested it. No one's ever probably shot through it either. Like, oh, let me shoot through Lifeline. If you can, that'll be fine. I'm actually for that. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I like the functionality of the drone doing that, but I don't know, man.
So I
I don't
think,
know. How do you feel?
yeah, I think it makes Lifeline a different healer, a more versatile healer, because it's
Mhm.
true. Because the thing is, like with the buffs of the other legends, it's kind of in a really indirect way made Lifeline
Debuffing.
less appealing. So, for example, when they gave Gibraltar the speed buff with the shield, that kind of made him like a really good reser because you're shielded and it's like halftime or something, right?
Right, right.
And then they did the Mirage buff where he cloaks now, where he when he reses you or respawns you.
And someone was telling me the ship also is cloaked when it comes in.
I do not think the ship is cloaked. Just
Okay, that would have been crazy. I was like, dang, Mirage,
yeah,
are you taking that? Okay, okay.
yeah.
But still, that's
So
huge.
that kind of made Lifeline a less appealing medic, but I'm glad that they gave her this kind of buff to give to kind of make her like a different type of medic, because now she's the only medic who can stay offensive while resing.
That's true. That's true. Everyone else has to still be in the res position, if you know what I mean. Which I
Yeah.
think that works really well, like he said. And I think overall, a lot of people will come back to playing Lifeline. I don't think a lot of people stop playing Lifeline in the first place. If we kind of look at the stats, it's kind of like Wraith, you know, like they're both so solid and so good of players that similar to Mirage, people who play them like they don't need to stop playing them per se. So this is maybe what they need. I don't know. Is Octane getting his buff? Like, is there any hints to what that may be?
I don't know. I really want to hear about them because I play Octane, so I'm curious to know like how they're gonna change him, right? So they buffed his ultimate, so it recharges every minute, which is pretty fun. I've
That's
been using
fast.
a lot of jump pads. I've been using jump pads in very creative ways now that that it regens so much faster.
Mhm.
I've been using them offensively, if that makes sense. If you can imagine what that means.
Please don't tell me you're throwing them at in the middle of the fight, so a person's like, "Oh, what the heck?" and then they just fly.
Yeah. And it like springs them away. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Sail away, sail away.
I had a thing where like a Pathfinder was jumping in train yard on those hanging containers.
Okay, okay, yeah.
There was a Pathfinder that did zipline up, and before I got there, I chucked the jump pad down, and he springed off it. He just like repelled him away. It was so funny. I laughed so hard.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's
Anyways, yeah, I've been using a jump pad, so I want to know how they're gonna buff him in other ways. My guess is maybe they'll give him a double jump. Maybe they'll make the health respawn like his self-inflicted like damage.
Mhm.
They might reduce that, or they might make it so he regenerates it faster. I don't know. So it makes it more appealing to use
my
him.
my crazy request that they're not going to do because it literally would break the game in some with one character is he just stims everyone on his team.
Also,
always-
everyone speeds up. No, my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
madness. That's madness. No.
Do you just want to see? Do you want to see Bangalore like Bangalore?
Yeah, that's
Someone starts
madness.
shooting at her stim like Bangalore is like a freaking Sonic the Hedgehog out there.
Yeah, my guess is they're gonna give him like a double jump, or they're going to tweak something regarding the self-inflicted damage for Stim.
Mm-hmm. And also with this mode, that they're also introducing some mobile respawn beacons, so you don't have to respawn at the beacons themselves, which is really cool.
That's game changer.
That's game changing.
For,
That's
for
game
final,
changing.
like for the final 2 rings or something, when you're out of like you have a banner, but you can't like
You can't reach the beacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suspect, just like with the Evo shields, that this is actually going to be coming back into play.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it's
they'll add
interesting
it
that
to the season.
it's interesting that the Evo Shield stayed, because when they did the event, they're like, "Oh, we're testing them. We don't know if they're gonna be around," and then just like, "Oh, okay, we're keeping them." So
Yeah. And I think they've added a large dynamic change, because when you see people with red armor, you're just like, oh, not red armor again. I'm tired of you people. Get away from me. with all your
Hmm.
your little extra health on there. And you
There's
know,
something so satisfying though about downing someone and then taking their red
I was
shield.
taking their red shield. It's like, thank you
Yeah.
for doing the work. Now
It's
I'm
like
gonna cash in.
this
I'm
is
gonna
mine
cash in.
now.
It's just mine.
Yeah, or you pick up a purple one and it's like 17 more damage. And you're like, oh yeah, yes please.
Thank you. And then yeah, so after that they talked about I think it's Sims 5 or Sims 4. You know, like the Sims, basically Sims coming to Steam. So that's a thing. And then some indie games that they had. We're kind of going to skip over that because the last two announcements that they made, of course, we already knew about Star Wars Squadrons. We haven't seen any gameplay, but this time they let us know. They showed us a bunch of the gameplay. They've kind of also unveiled how it's going to play out. And for the most part, yes, this is a flight sim. No, no getting around it, but it's going to be still going to have, you know, if you ever played Rogue Squadron on the 64 or GameCube, or if you played, you know, those, it's also a mix of that and X-Wing and TIE Fighter. So it's a sim, but not a strict sim. If you want to go and do some crazy maneuvers, you know, uh, what did the guy actually say? He said something like, divert your power from the shields, put them to your boosters, go really fast, and then, you know, drop all of your power and then just drift and then cut it back. Do crazy stuff like that. You'll be able to do it. Or if you just want to just hang out, have fun, play 5v5 against other people in the different modes, that's there as well. There's also going to be a single player mode. So if you don't care about people, go do that. That's going to be me. I'm going to be playing this because I loved X-Wing, like the Squadron games. I loved those so much. And it's only going to be $40 and the whole thing is playable in VR. That's all
Oh
you
my god,
actually need to
yeah,
know.
yeah, that's crazy. Are you gonna get a like? I know we're getting like money from the government. What are you gonna blow it on? Have you decided?
I still don't know. I still haven't got the money, but it's
Yeah,
like,
me neither. But yeah.
I feel like this week we should be getting that money. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like $1,000 at least. So it's like VR. I know I was looking at the Oculus. Was it Quest or Rift? Go Quest.
The
The one
Oculus
you don't
Quest
need
is
a
the one
computer.
that's standalone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking at that, and I was like, okay, this, you know, it's affordable. I mean, they're all affordable with free money, but I'm just like, okay, this is pretty affordable. I can still play a lot of these games. But then part of me is like, but I want to see them in nice graphics and things. And the index is still that's expensive, but it's pretty awesome
The
too.
index, yeah,
Mm.
is in Japan now. It took a while for the index to get to Japan, but it's in Japan now. It's expensive as hell though. It's real expensive.
Is it over 1,000?
Give me a second. I'm going to go to Skumo, my favorite computer shop in Tokyo.
Tsukumo. That's not actually their jingle, but that's just my jingle for them. Tsukumo.
It's 138,000 yen, 308. Yeah, 138,000.
Okay. So that's what $1,300, 14, somewhere around there. It's
But that's the full set. But this would be what you would be getting because you don't have any kind of VR setup.
exactly.
So that's the headset and the controllers and the base stations, and those are all required. You just can't be like, oh, I don't need controllers, obviously, right? So
you need the whole thing. So it's
you need
like,
the whole set. But for someone like me who already owns an HTC Vive, I can upgrade piecemeal.
mm-hmm.
So I could get just the headset, or I could get just the controllers, or just the base stations if I really was insane. But yeah, I don't know.
This is I don't know, like for me, I think like flight sims are perfect. Like this is like the perfect game where you can just go into VR and really feel like you're there because you're going to be looking left and right. You're going to be trying to find out who's on your left, who's on your six or whatever. It's
Yeah, and you want to get a
oh
chair or
my goodness,
something.
it's pretty cool. 40
Did we ever
bucks
talk about
too.
VR? Because I have a VR headset. I don't know if we talked about like
Did
VR
we
much.
talk? I
Did
think
you
we talked
did you
about it, but we didn't talk
you
about.
never? Yeah, you never tried my VR headset, right?
No, I
One of
haven't.
one of my favorite things about VR is really simple. Is like when you have a VR headset that's compatible with Steam VR, is that you can download a bunch of environments. So when you have a VR headset, Steam installs something called like VR Home, and it becomes like a VR dashboard. So you put on your headset, and now you're looking at your Steam library in VR. You're in a home, you're in some kind of environment. Like I have a cabin in the mountains, and like my Steam library is now on the wall, and I can go up to it and I can pick a game, like touch it, in VR, and then it'll launch.
That's pretty cool.
A bunch of these environments are free to download. They're just made by the community, and some dude ripped like almost all the famous environments from Ocarina of Time.
Wow. You like touched them up.
Yeah, yeah, and they look really good. And like, so I'm in like the friggin' Temple of Time and it plays the music, and it's just like
Oh,
it's
that's
so
pretty cool.
awesome. Or I'm
Like
in like
now,
Hyrule Field and it's playing the music. I'm in, it's just like it's at the very first time you step into VR, and the very first time you step into these familiar environments from a game like Ocarina. It's I don't want to say like emotional, but it's like really really cool because you're like in the world that you loved as a kid, and it's playing like the town music, and you're like, oh, this is the best.
it really is like VR. I don't know. I didn't use VR at one point. I actually did like development for a VR game and tested out for like about a year, I guess. But there was before even trying VR, I was just like, oh, it's still just 3D. Like, what's different from looking at it on a TV screen? It's okay,
Oh
fine.
yeah,
It's like fine,
yeah.
I'm in it, but it's still gonna be a game. Still gonna be like, there's not gonna be much different. But I put that thing on, I was like, oh, oh, this is
Yeah,
cool.
there's something
It's like, oh, this is
very,
cool.
yeah, there's something very overwhelming about it, about just being completely immersed in your environment.
Oh, it's
Um,
good. Now is a perfect time if you own VR or don't own, like, to get into VR since we're all locked in ish to an extent. To an extent, it's a good time to. 2020 is a good year for to get into VR. Hopefully, we'll see the market kind of grow a little bit more, and we'll get some more
uh,
experiences. Who
I
knows?
think, yeah, I think the Quest honestly is probably the right direction for VR. It's not as powerful as something like the Index that requires high-end hardware and a high-end PC.
Hmm.
Like technically, yeah, it's better because it's higher refresh rate, higher resolution, whatever, right?
Right, right.
But in terms of what just VR, I think should be, I think the Quest is the way to go because there's no wires. You don't need a computer. You just put the thing on and that's it. And I think that's where
It has
like
to.
most people, yeah, will want to experience VR.
Yep. And so that's once again Star Wars Squadrons. You'll be able to get it on October 2nd for $40, PS4, Xbox One, PC, on Steam and Origins, and also the Epic Store. Yay! Apparently it has cross-platform crossplay as well. So I think
Yep.
going forward, EA is just going to have crossplay as like that's standard, and so hopefully that becomes standard across the board for all games. Period. And finally, they let us know they're making Skate 4. Literally, that was the
Oh
most
yeah, Skate. Yeah, Skate, huh?
in develop like okay, so I've never played Skate. I've always looked at Skate. I've played Tony Hawk, all the Tony Hawks. I love Tony Hawk. I love Skate. I used to skateboard when I was a kid, when I was in middle school, and
Hmm.
I looked at Skate and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. It looks kind of technical, but I loved how you really felt like you were like looking like one of those skateboarding music, not music videos, but one of the trick videos or whatever, and it just had a really good feel to it, right? And it's been years and years and years, and I know a lot of people have wanted Skate, a sequel after Skate 3, which was in 2010. And EA's just like, I have no clue who decided to do this, but they were just like, hey guys, you're going to be able to make Skate 4 now. Also, just say this on the press conference. Just say, we're making Skate 4. And that's what they did. We'll get this
Yeah.
game 4 years from now. That's it.
Makes me wonder when we're gonna see Diablo 4.
That should be coming up, right? Like maybe next year, early next year at the latest.
Oh my, I don't know. What is Blizzard doing? We went Overwatch 2? Like what's anyways, that's a
Oh,
different
that's
discussion, but
that's true. We don't even know. But speaking of like where are games or what's happening, of course, Cyberpunk 2077 got delayed, unfortunately, from I believe when was it supposed to originally come out? September, I think.
we keep saying this. I think September, yeah, and now it's
November.
November,
So
yeah.
it's November 19th. And of course, they're not worried about it. And I don't think we should be, but I know a lot of people, maybe they were hype and maybe they did some preparations.
Yeah, it's just 2 months, and I think it's gonna be a good game. Give them the time to put out a polished product. Like Witcher 3, for example, came out a long time ago now, a couple years, but it's still good.
Hmm.
It's
Still good.
it's still a very good game. So like, I feel this will be on that level, I think so.
Yep. And if you buy the game on PS4 or PS5, you're going to be able to upgrade to Xbox Series X and also PS5
Which is
for
nice.
free, which is
Yep.
nice.
Which
So
is nice.
So there we go. And Horizon Forbidden West, which I thought was going to be a launch game. Unfortunately, they said that it's going to be coming to PS5 in 2021. We don't know when, so it could still technically be in a launch window before March. I don't know. I think originally it came out in February, so for the original Horizon Zero Dawn. But who knows? Forbidden West. I'm looking forward to it. We'll see where it goes. And Super Smash Brothers. By the time this podcast comes out for SSBU. I just wanted to say that. You're going to be finding out what ARMS character you're going to be playing.
Does anyone care?
I don't know. Some, Smash fans, I don't. All I can say is just, well. I think there may be one or two more fighters after this. So
yeah, because there's season 2, like the fighter. Yeah.
Season 2. So let's just hope that the next one is better. I don't know. I don't know.
What was legit though? I think nothing can top like Joker. Like when Joker led season 1,
that was
crap,
too hype. Yes. Everyone was just like, what? And wait,
I was like, what's next?
The whole theory behind that is that we were getting a Persona on, Switch, and we did.
We technically
Scramble. Did. We got Scramble. We got Scramble. Yeah. So everything that they do, like guest character wise, they kind of get it. And people still want Sora to this day. They're like, well, where's our Sora at? From Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if there's going to be
Would you like Sora in Smash Bros? I don't know, man. I'm sure. Yeah, that's fine.
We got Cloud.
I still want Chrono.
Hey, Square, make it happen. Remake.
Yeah, put Chrono on there. Like, what? He's perfect.
That's it. And then finally, I forgot to mention, I'm getting all the news from pretty much Polygon this week. So thank you, Polygon.com. I love you. Yeah, so the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog on Twitter. I know Alex is a huge fan of the Sega, the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account, but Aaron Weber is now kind of, moving on to different pastures inside of Sega. So apparently, and I didn't follow this that well, like when he took over, but apparently, this from 30,000 followers to, was it 5.8 million followers? He grew that account with the single purpose of just like, and I'm reading a quote right here, and he's just like, let's see, let me find it. It's a pretty humorous account, and I think that's what you loved about it as well. And he just found, he had no clue what he was going to do, but he just had to make it interesting. So he just posted fun content, memes, references you wouldn't expect from an official account. And apparently it worked. He's like, normally this is a good way to lose your job, but the community responded. So was that what you loved in kind of heart and in theory about the account, that it just didn't feel like a company account of any sort?
Yeah, I mean, like, he was one of the first ones to really kind of go in that direction. So in his goodbye message, he said like he made the risk to stop getting approval for tweets from Sega Japan. And as someone who lives and works in Japan, like, I really kind of feel that. I respect that, where if you work for a Japanese company, like, what happens is you can't do anything. Your hands are tied. You have to get like approval all the time. Right, it's like run things by approval. And then for this guy to just be like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to get approval. I'm going to do what I want. That's obviously a huge risk. He says in his message that like normally that's a good way to get fired. Right. But the fact that it worked, he gambled and it worked. He decided to be like, he kind of like trusted himself to put out content that would get a good reaction. And it worked. I remember when he started doing that, I remember like a tweet, like a lot of people had assumed that the account got hacked. Someone hacked the account. Yeah. Because he was just posting a lot of memes. He was making fun of himself. Like there was a thing where he would like, because there was that infamous scene in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 where Sonic kisses like a human.
Oh, the kisses the human. I don't know if we talked about that on stream, or not on stream, but on on the podcast last week. And like, there's some phases of Sonic people. There's some phases. Yeah. Oh man, there's some phases.
And then like in one of the tweets, he was just like, "Oh, don't worry, we all make mistakes. Sometimes I kiss a human sometimes, like once or something." And like, just it's really self, what's the word, like self?
Is it deprecating or self?
Yes.
Reference. It's
that kind of humor, right? And like that was unique at the time for a brand to kind of laugh at itself. So, I respect that. There's one thing that I laughed about later down the line,
Mm-hmm.
is like, oh my god, I don't know where to start. So there's like a community meme of like Knuckles, because Knuckles, they'll put like and Knuckles behind something, so it's like something something and Knuckles, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a joke image where it's like Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles or something. Coming out, I can't remember the year, but like coming out in like say 2040 or something, right?
Please let
And
it happen.
that happened to be the same year that Deus Ex Mankind Divided takes place in.
Don't tell me there was Knuckles just in there. Right, that would have been funny.
So the official Deus Ex account tweeted to Sonic the Hedgehog and just said like, I always ask for this, because that's another meme. So there's a Deus Ex meme that's just like, it's the famous line from the first game. So I never asked for this, right?
Right.
And then like, so they tweeted to Sonic saying like, I always ask for this, and it's like this awkward Photoshop smile of Jensen smiling. It looks really weird.
Oh man.
And then
That's good.
And then it doesn't end there. And then a couple years later, when Mankind Divided actually came out, and I was playing it, you go into a store in the game.
Oh no! Don't tell me it's Knuckles and Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles and Knuckles.
that exact game, that exact image from their Twitter account was in the game.
Dude,
yeah,
that is what makes social media really cool when you're following people, and like you just get that response from, like, it's not just like, okay, it's us the fans, we're talking, but it's like other companies are also paying attention to, and then like to see that come into the game, that's stupidly awesome. That's awesome.
I laughed so hard. I was like, I can't believe they did it. Like those mad lads, they did it.
Because they had to ask them. They had to be like, hey guys, we actually want to put this.
Yeah, we want to put it in the game. Yeah,
because that would have been what Square asking Sega, I think.
That would have been been Square asking Sega, yeah.
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. So kudos, man. Pat yourself on the back, Aaron, and don't stop doing your awesomeness wherever you are in Sega, whatever you do. Yeah, fans love you. We love you. And as the love goes on, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I was gonna say, as the love goes on, I started feeling like Lion King in my head. Anyways, everyone, Alex just showed me a screenshot of it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you are playing Last of Us 2, you'll notice that there are a couple of copies of Uncharted. I think it's 1 and 2, and there might be a Crash Bandicoot somewhere, but they're there.
I like Easter eggs like that. Yeah,
it's a fat PS3 as well. It's not even slim.
Apparently, there's someone playing a Vita in Last of Us 2.
What?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh man. Well, it's been a good episode. I've really enjoyed it. We've kept you for about an hour and 10 minutes now, but we're glad that you've stayed with us as long as you have. It's always week in, week out. We love talking with you guys, and we love just hanging out, playing games. So I'm gonna go play some more Last of Us. I think Alex is gonna continue playing more Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, or Persona 5 Royal, something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
One of those P's. One of those
Persona game. A Persona game, yeah.
A Persona game. And remember, you can always find us on the Twitters and the Instagrams. Just refer to the beginning of the show if you don't remember the link. It'll be in the show descriptions. And shout outs to any of the other podcasts that are listening to us. I know the Console Gaming Crew is great guys. They also do some streams. So if you can find them on Twitter, they're on our Twitter as well. Just check them out. They're a great group of guys, and solely love to support everyone out there. So that's going to do it for us this week. We'll be back for episode number 39 of the Unknown Games podcast. We are creeping up on 40, everyone, and that's creepy in a good way. In a good way. And remember, you set the tone. Whatever you do, go play some games and put something good out into the world. Enjoy your life. And we'll catch you next week.
Sounds good. Peace.
I always ask for this.
Yeah, is that funny?
Oh, that is a creepy smile. That's a creepy smile.
That's the tweet. That's the tweet that they said.